Okay, I think we are ready to go. Wow, what's up, Commanders? Hope everybody's having a good day today. Talon, good day. Here in the midst of Corsair builds. Well, let's get in here and grab one and have a look-see. Kind of excited. Mainly because of the medium ship with big thrusters. Still not a fan of the looks, but I mean, maybe it'll grow on me. I don't know. What do you think, Chester? Okay. Fleet. Ship list. There we are. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Missing 16, 17. Need to fix some ship names here. Oh, we just had an update. Should have remembered this. Desktop bindings. Copy. Local. Frontier, there you are. Elite, options, and paste. Yes, I want to overwrite. There we go. Always slips my mind. You'd think I'd know better by now. Yes, we bought the bird. I'm gonna load back in and have a look. I forgot to recopy my bindings, so what do we got in game? I just immediately discovered it, shut it down, and did that, so. Fortunately, Elite tends to load quickly off an SSD. I always forget about the FleetCom group, and I look at it sometimes. I'm like, what the hell is that? There we go. That's better. All right. Shipyard. Come in. Look, I haven't even opened her yet. Let's have a look at our baseline stats. 325 top, 412 boost. And kind of man maneuverability. Seals 395, armor 1,300. Okay. That jump range is pretty bad. Alright, they've given the stellar version of it to us with a 3E pulse laser, 2 3C multi-cannons, 2 2F pulse lasers, and 2 2F multi-cannons. Interesting mix. Military grade composite, a 7A power plant, 7A thrusters, a grade 5 FSD. I'm going to see what we can do about that thing right away. 4D light support, 7A power distributors, 6D sensors, heatsink shield booster, point defense, and a kill warrant scanner. Decent cargo capacity, a 5A fuel scoop, 2 hull reinforcements, an ops limit controller, planetary hangar, and advanced control. Or advanced planetary approach. 6C bi-weave shield generator. This is an interesting build. Okay. Typical Gutamaya cockpit. It's not bad looking. It's not my favorite. Let's hop out and have a walk around, shall we?
No gravity. Magnetic contact active.
Typical Gutamaya nacelles. That is one honking big engine, y'all. Okay, that's a weapons bay. Now, my big question is, where are we in relation to... Nine jumps is not optimal. Basic Corsair, but I did purchase a chrome skin. Alright, where is there a high-tech system near us? Oh, Dupes here. What is up, my friend? Civilization, no. Wait a minute. Economy is what I'm looking for. Duh. Alright, we're just going to use Honora. I'm not going to mess around too much looking at the old outfitting search. Where are we? We are in Oregon. Oh, there's a stronghold carrier in this system. But for who? Allegiance to the Empire, I should be able to dock there. Alright. Let's launch and see what this thing's like, guys. I don't know that I'm sold on this cockpit.
Chip release
Interesting roll rate. Let's have a look here. Right, so our weapons are mounted behind the cockpit. We've got 2 on the sides, 1 on the top, and then 2 more down the sides. Right, so weapon convergence on this thing should actually be pretty on point.
You have less than no fire zone. Good luck and fly safely, Commander.
Yes, it is the same cockpit as a courier. It makes it feel... The rings have always made me feel really... Like my view is really restricted despite all of the cockpit glass. Like, I don't care for them that much. Also, there's a lot of ship in front of us. Like, there's a lot of ship in front of us. I mean, it's not as bad as a Corvette or Anaconda or anything, but there's a good chunk of ship in front of us right there. Alright, let's try... Okay, pretty smooth. I want to take a look at a couple other things. We'll let it run in SCO and see what its max is and how the fuel consumption is in the very near future, I promise. But since we have a stronghold carrier here, we have an opportunity to do some pretty decent fiddling around with this thing without having to go too far. I like the actual, like, seat control, the panels. It's these damn rings. See what else we can do to this drive, because the I mean, aside from slapping a Guardian FSD booster, of course, with the jump range, pretty bad. Especially for something touted as multi-roll. Craftastic Media. Yeah, I picked up the Stellar edition of it, so it does have a SCO drive in it. Alright. This is kind of a fortunate coincidence here. One I will happily take advantage of. All right. First things first. Boy, this thing's got some funky paint jobs. Imperial Argentus. That's your standard look for an Imperial ship. Really went all in with the Roman naming scheme on this one, didn't they? Interesting. Alright. So we've got two different spoilers here. Or none. We've got that. I honestly think this thing looks better without the kits on it at all. You know, my standard green so I don't get confused. I'm already easily confused enough, folks, so. Yeah, I definitely think this thing looks better without the ship kits. Alright. There we go. There we can get a good look at the weapons. This is honestly not a terrible set of utilities. I have my quibbles about kill warrant scanners, but I mean, it's nothing deal breaking. All right, core internals. Tempted to replace that thing in engineer. I need to look at my engineering pins though. Actually, no, I don't have to replace it. Yeah, let's see what we could do with this. I'm out of strange wake solutions. Pity. Not a traitor here, is there? No. Alright, well, let's see what that did with our jump range. Even just that little bit. Yeah, that's already brought us up to a much more respectable jump range. So that FSD is pretty easily made much better. Military composite. It's hard to argue too much with these core internals. Strange wake solutions? There's a variety of ways to get them. If you want to just hang around outside starports and stuff, you can get them there. Literally just watching people jump will do it. There's also a tech broker. It's a mission reward from Boom Systems. I should note that it has to be high wake scans. Ooh, you didn't know about rep. Oh, ouch. That does hurt. This is not bad. I have a hard time finding fault with much of what they've put in this ship. This is not bad, and the optionals, Talon just said it. This is a very nice set of optionals. We've got 1, 2, 3 class 6s, 1, 2, 3 class 5s, a class 4, a class 3, a class 2, a class 1. You can do a lot with this ship. Let's just say that we wanted to set this thing up for... And this is why I came to this ship. So we could hold a class 4 refinery easily with 10 bins. We could throw a class 5A prospector limpet in this thing. Passenger cabin wise, that's very good diverse loadout. You put a better shield generator in it with no problem. Yeah, that would be fun to here. There's a lot of build variety that could happen with this ship. What I'm not super stoked on is the hard points. This is not the way I would have built this ship. Also, yeah. All right, let's go with bursts. So let me hold on a second. So we're looking at 3 large and 3 class 3s, 3 class 2s. I don't know that this is the way I would have built this ship. I get what they're going for. I just... This is the kind of ship that you could have fun playing around with cannons or something on. You could put a lot of mining tools on it. Plasma accelerators, railgun. Before I pass judgment on the built-in loadout, though, I feel like we should go test it as is. So, that being said, the only thing modded right now is the FSD. Let's turn off the fleet carriers. Oh, we do have a conflict zones here. Let's try a low intensity conflict zone and see what this thing is about. Since our current rebuy is 0, I ain't too worried. Boost is quick enough. Get it in combat and see what its maneuverability is really like. Also, I need to look at the Civil War. Okay, and let's boost. A frag build? That's an interesting idea. It's a really interesting idea. All right. Okay, on servers, you can do it. Like, that weapon convergence is very nice. All right, you gonna give me the, give me my message here? Cars don't actually see any ships now that I think about it. Alright. Nope, we're not playing that game. This will let me test two things at once. So we're going to head to my squadron's home system real quick. Oh, that raises a good question. Something I always like to know just out of my own curiosity. For no reason, other than I just like looking. Interesting. I don't see it on this ship. You didn't forget, did you, Frontier? We'll run it out of fuel a little bit more so that I have more time to pan around. I always like to see where the fuel scoop is, where you can actually see the intakes. So when we get in my system, one, I know there's a guaranteed hazardous or guaranteed high risk of resource extraction and a couple others. Plus, it's a fairly long way to the back half of the system, so we can test out the SCO and see exactly what it's like. And if we really want to put it through its paces, I know the exact system to do that in too. I see it. All right. That is a big old scoop too. That's nice to have. Okay. So we will head on for the resource extraction sites on the outer planets when we jump in. See what our overdrive can or overcharge can do. Let's go ahead and fill her back up. $5,300 light seconds will give us a decent idea. Like I said, there's a system very near here that is very spread out that I can use as a test run for a long cruise, which we'll do in a little while. It's real smooth in overcharge. Wasn't overheating too quick either.
Welcome to the dark side.
Hello, Marmot. Thank you for the YouTube sub. Yeah, we'll head to HIP 46414 after this little test run in combat and run that SCO through its paces. Because we've got 477,000 light seconds we can go in that system. I mean, I know I could do it in any old system. I just kind of like to have the destination so that I could, you know, have a good target, see the numbers. Let's drop in and find ourselves some targets. Alright, keel back. You're clearly mining. You're fine. Another keel back. One thing they were not kidding about, it definitely has that on rails feel. I mean, so far it's pretty damn fun to fly. Ah, Imperial hammers. I'll 1v1 a Asp and see what we get. Oof, pitch is not great. We're down to 6. Okay, the weapons convergence on this thing is nice. Those shields are not. I have have seen Schedule 1. I haven't played it yet, obviously. Alright, let's see what happens if we jump a gunship. Okay. Wish I'd had that on. Lost 40% hull, lost the shields. It's alright. We can get the gang back together and ruin a small town. Now that is tempting. So the base model is okay in combat. All right. Now, let's test out this Super Cruise overcharge under a long distance haul. Let's get her filled back up. And Narnia Hub, 476,689 light seconds. Alright, so let's go ahead and engage the overdrive and see what we get. Okay, we're not doing terribly on fuel. Looks like we've stopped at 57%. Heat. Looking like he's topping out at 400 or 4,585, 84 C. Definitely not as fuel efficient as the Mandalay. But they can still make that flight on a tank of fuel. So 470,000 light seconds, or 465,000, excuse me, given that is pushing it a little bit. Oh no, that was 470 something because yeah. That's still pushing it. But stopped at 57% heat. Pretty stable to fly. So, oh no, that's not too bad. For those that are just tuning in or may not have known, the reason I knew that this was here is because this is my colony system, and this bloody place is where the construction ship jumped in. So in order to get this system fully claimed and build our first starport, all the materials had to be brought in and shuttled this 470-something thousand light seconds. Bit of a slog, but we did get it done. That's also why there's nothing else out here. Although fleet carriers will make construction in this system a much more viable prospect. And yes, Sam, this place is named Narnia Hub for the reason you think it is. Relatively quiet ship. Let's get in here and set her down. Because we need the fuel, if nothing else. Dean Charlesworth, working at First Planetary Service Outpost. I'm hoping it'll have CMMs once complete to help build out the rest of the system. Yeah, I'm still working my way through how all that stuff works, in case any of you have wondered why I haven't done another tutorial video on it. Because I can't make tutorials until I figure out how it works myself, and I'm still working on it. Like this station, all they produce is crap. One ton of it is all they have. It's just 1 ton of shit. So. Top 5 local interstellar values, interstellar bounties. Man, those are pretty low, actually. All right. Let's head back up to the organ system and back to that stronghold carrier. And let's have a look and see what we can really do with this thing. You know what I would like to do? Hold on. Before I do that. This is FSD, wasn't it? Oh, we need... Alright, hold on. Let me find a... Trade routes? No. Material traders. Strange Wake Solutions. Strange Wake Solutions or... Technology Brokers. What type again? There they are. Strange Wake Solutions. uncoded. Oh, there's an uncoded not too far from here. That's at Marius. It's nice to be back in my little pocket of the galaxy again. Everything's 3 jumps away in this system. Or in this ship. Your first station has loads of stuff for sale, and mine do. Well, I haven't checked on. I haven't actually checked on this one in a while. Even though. I'm very tempted to deal with that, but nope, I gotta stay focused on what we're focused on today. I want to see what we can do with this, this thing's FSD. And I'll probably screw around with its weaponry a bit more. I bet you I have a bunch of stuff in storage that could fit this thing. And the flak build sounds interesting. I also want to cram this thing full of nothing but cargo and see what we can max it out at. Yoicks. There we go. Oh god, yeah, I've got enough stuff stored at our home base to outfit this ship 20 times over. Okay. There's Marius. Alright, so we are here for the tech broker. It's a shame this thing uses a Class 5 FSD, otherwise I have a killer drive I could put in it. Unfortunately, that's in my Mandalane, and I ain't taking it out.
Docking is completed. Disembark when ready.
Now it's time for me to visit Professor Palin to have my thrusters blasted in a dirty way. That does sound very wrong, but we all know what you mean. We need strange wakes and eccentric hyperspace trajectories. Now we need eccentrics. Arsenic is going to be a problem. Arsenic's always a problem. And that is going to be all about going and mining for it or looking for it. So I'm not going to worry with that too much unless we can find it close to us. And this thing will also need an SRV for that. Let's see what that's done to our jump range. Actually, I could do a raw materials trader now that I think about that. Materials trader. Raw would be in... Yuk Ping. We're up to almost 30 light years. This thing doesn't have an SRV in it. 3 jumps. Everything is 3 jumps in this ship right now. I'm going to Oppenheimer. Because I have become Death, Destroyer of Worlds.
Restraints released. All clear, Commander.
So far, I am honestly very pleased with this ship.
This is the Imperial Flight Operations Bureau signing off.
I'm still not a fan of the way it looks, but I don't have to see it from inside the ship, so looking at weaponry in this thing, I don't think beam lasers would be the way to go. The power plant parachuter would, one, need some serious engineering, and I just don't think. Burst lasers, pulse lasers, and I prefer burst, seem like the better way with this ship. Alright, and we are headed for Oppenheimer. I do think this ship has the potential to make a really good mining ship. For one thing, especially if you're doing abrasion mining or deep core, the really spot-on weapon convergence will help with that. And honestly, compared to all the other Gutamaya ships, this thing's weapon convergence, like, that deserves massive praise. Like, it is right on, it's dead center, it's not out on the pylons like the Clipper and the Cutter, which, like, that weapons convergence is bam, right in front of you. If you wanted to run all fixed weapons and you're a good shot, this would be a fantastic ship for that. Like, not as much firepower as my Corvette, obviously, but the difference there is that I absolutely have to run gimbaled or turreted on the Corvette, or you can never bring all your guns to bear at once. Because of the top-mounted huge hard points on that thing, and then just where everything else is on the top of the hull, on the bottom of the hull. Like, this is fighter ship style weapon convergence on this thing. Of course, in a more realistic combat scenario, the crew on the Corvette would be shooting 4 or 5 things at once anyways.
Gutamaya, Delta, India, Gulf. Please ensure you follow standard docking procedures before landing. Permission authorized. Proceed to Bay 03.
Represent so far, I have not encountered any overheating issues with it. I ran it for 460,000 light seconds in SCO, and it stopped at 57, 58% heat. We've done a couple combat scenarios. I'm going to do more. I haven't had it really overheat there. That's what I want to test more of those, because I'm not fully satisfied with my data there. But yeah, so far.
Dispatched. You are most welcome, Commander.
Okay, now obviously I can't apply an experimental, but that's a maxed FSD. I'm going to go ahead and bring us down for outfitting. Just so I can have a look at that in livery. So that's brought us up to 29.9 light years max. 28.8. There is no FSD or Guardian FSD booster in this thing. Having 3 rails on it? I know where we can go to test that. I absolutely know where we can go to test that. Now that we have the FSD where I want it, or see exactly what it can do. Why don't we get stupid with the weapons testing? Before we take off, though, let's look at... Do I have any? I don't have any blueprints pinned for that. For the distro. I could work on the power plant, though. We will do that once we get where we're going. As I also want to try the frag build. So give us a couple jumps to get to the stronghold carrier, and we can basically mess around with whatever we want to.
Landing restraints lifted. You are go for departure.
She's certainly easy to fly out of the mailbox slot like an asshole.
You are clear of station restrictions. Be careful out there, Commander.
I really can't argue with 26 light years on something like this too much in the bubble. I mean, I have to remind myself that I've been flying a pretty decently optimized exploration ship for the last 30,000 light years. And that, you know, jumping 75 plus light years at a time ain't normal for most ships. I am getting used to the cockpit. Those rings, though, I don't, they still throw me. Now, I'm curious what kind of performance you're going to get out of those dirty drives. Could we actually load the system map? That would be... Thank you. Here we go. And by the way, guys, I think most of you know this, but it always bears repeating in case somebody doesn't. If you are pledged to a power play power, their stronghold carrier, wherever you can find a stronghold carrier, should be your go-to for outfitting. Even if you have access to Founders World. If you don't feel like running around a lot, it's your one-stop shop. Now, if you want to go and hunt around for deals, I fully get that, because I've done it myself. But if you just have the money to spare and want to land somewhere and do outfitting, this is the way to go these days. I just so happen to get lucky that my fleet carrier and a stronghold carrier both are in the same system right now. If you haven't looked at one before, you'll see when we land, this thing has a pretty solid selection of modules for us. Come on. Let's go. What is this? Thursday? Server tick? Let's go. You found a Prismatic 8A 163% off. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff it's worth shopping around for. I was looking, we were looking over stuff yesterday, like, you know, the armor on my Federal Corvette costs almost as much as the Corvette. So if you could get it, something like that, for a good discount, yes. Are you about to air out here? Because you're really not wanting to drop out of Super Cruise. No, armor never is cheap, but, I mean, if you look at what, like, if you look at, like, what Corvette-rated armor can do, there she is. Alright, where did you stick me? Hey, Greenie. How are you, sir? I'm doing good. We're just testing out this new ship in Elite. I'll say, Talon, it is worth it, though. The amount of punishment that my carry or my Corvette can take, like, the shields, as you know, are tough as all hell, but then it can take a hell of a lot of punishment as a hull tank while it recharges, too. The last time that ship got taken down, I was in Hazardous, and I had a unbelievable amount of shit pounding on that ship. Alright, can we actually drop out of Super Cruise for the Stronghold carrier this time? Oh, a package. Really, Greenie? There we go. D&D Dungeon Master's Guide, Player's Handbook, and Monster Manual. Nice, Greenie. I saw some dumbass mess with one of these Stronghold carrier convoys one day. You can talk about a serious fuck around and find out moment. USB splitter hub. Okay. All right. So. Let's start doing dumb shit to this ship. Since we're down to a single. That would do it, yeah. Alright, so let's see. Outfitting. They may not have what I want here. Let's see. No, not a frame shift drive. Oh no, that would be the. All right, yeah. So let's go with. Have you purchased something for me last night? Carolyn at Reaper Squeezins. Looking forward to trying this. Yikes. Alright, that's 3 rails. What should we put on the top of it? Yeah, let's just make this really stupid and see what happens. Kids, this is a terrible idea. You should never do this at home. Alright, we wanted to find out how this thing handles heat. We're sure as hell about to find out how it handles heat. Oh boy. We clear the no fire zone on this stronghold carrier real quick. Right, we're about to fry. Yeah. The quick answer is that without some engineering, a 3 railgun build is not going to work on this ship. I'm about to do as much damage to myself as they are to me. In the name of entertainment and full testing, I'll go give it a whirl. But I can tell you now, in my experience with this kind of thing, I'm about to do a whole lot of damage to myself every time I pull that primary trigger. That being said, I do actually think that the frag laser build is probably pretty valid on this thing, and I would like to test that next. I'm also a big fan of the regular old cannons, which may seem odd, but that comes from the fact that I spent a long time flying a Vulture as my primary combat ship, and I did that with one big-ass beam laser and one cannon. And if you're kind of maneuvering and skating around in a Vulture the way Vultures do, being able to just pop off that one shot with a cannon and watch it chunk somebody's hull is real nice. So I've always been a fan of cannons. They don't do as well on ships where you can put a whole lot of multi-cannons, though the DPS is just not worth. But it is also hilarious to think about just using fucking cannons in this game's day and age. Hopefully we have an active CZ here. My face is a cannon, but works in reverse, like a vacuum. Wow, Greeny. You have not shown me your gank or annoying Sidewinder splats, McGee, but that sounds brilliant. Oh, Granny. It's a good thing I've known you for so long. we have another empty conflict zone? People aren't real good about this whole fighting a war thing, are they? Switch 2 in Mario Kart World. Ah, yes. I'm looking forward to it. We have goalies. We're old, Greeny. That's what happened to us, man. This is a low res. I'm not willing to take this thing into a Hazardous with this build. So, 3 rail guns, 3 frag cannons. What have I become? Splats is meant to be used inside a burning station when cankers are out. Okay. You need to engineer the hull reinforcements. It's also the only sidewinder ever is worth 2 million credits. Good lord, man. Alright, so South of Midnight Greeny looks really interesting to me. Megs was enthralled by the trailers. Something I'm really kind of interested in playing. I've got to find the time for it. I think I know when I will, though. And Claire Obscure is very high on my list. Kind of in a placeholder with games right now because we're getting ready to leave for a week. And I didn't want to start anything. Because I need to finish Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I need to finish Xenoblade Chronicles X. I need to play South of Midnight. I need to play Clair Obscur. There's always Elite. There's always Star Citizen. It's like, I've got a lot. Pushback Swimming Falls. I can't imagine Talon. Well, the music was what primarily hooked me on the idea of that game to begin with. All right. stupid mode. Engage. This is such a horrible idea. Well then, Pop went that bad guy. Yeah, this looks like a wing. Carrier jump times have been not horrible the last couple days. Nope, you're clean. Who was that just scammed me? Brave Burns. You're in the S Scout. I prefer not to engage a wing when I'm testing this. I would prefer just an individual target, but looks like the game's not going to give us that for a second. That's kind of gross, actually. It's not horrible, but I'm also being very deliberate with my shots. If you fly it right, it's definitely a lethal ass build. You also need to make sure you hit. But that was gross. I might keep this thing like this just for shits and giggles. That is absolutely disgusting. Although we are in a low res. Let's hop over. Yeah, I'm getting cocky. Well, cocky, getting stupid. Let's hop over to the Hazardous. See if we can find some bulkier targets. Greeny, I really want to check out that game. Like, really, really want to check it out. As Cobras and stuff is one thing, but is it on Game Pass? I haven't opened Game Pass in ages. That's one of my favorite uses for SCO right there. Gas giants. Alright, into the hazardous resource extraction site we go. Listen, pop in. Oh, well, here's the perfect thing to test it against, guys. Okay. Get back here. No, he was not happy about getting popped. This thing's pitch rate leaves something to be desired. Oh yeah, the FTL is outturning me with no issues. That's probably one of the worst case fights right there. And that really wasn't that bad. So, yeah, using this is all going to come down to just straight up pilot skill. Now this, on the other hand, because this is a hull tank, so there's a quick shield recharge on him. Got the flat cannon straight into his belly, though. Oops. Really? Come on, bot. You're a better shot than this. This build is feasible if you are a good shot. So. Ah, good lord, lighting. I find that freaking hilarious. Now, I think if we did something more reasonable and coupled this with some lasers. I was hoping to get a crack at, you know, a couple of the other big ships, like an Anaconda or... But yeah, this is hilariously feasible. Come here. We may not win this one. Yeah, the fighters are irritating. Whoops. Oh yeah, we're probably toast. I'm just gonna let it happen. Yep, he got me. Oh, man. All right. Oh, good stuff. Oh, man. Good stuff. All right, I'm going to take a quick break. That was hilarious. I'll be back in a minute. Thank you, Wookie. My mic just decided to mute itself a while ago. Appreciate it. Alright. Anyways, what I was saying was I'm going to see how this thing does as far as mining goes. Obviously, you guys saw me working on the build. So we've tested it as a combat ship. We've tested it as, seen how much cargo we could put in it. Let's have a look at... Whoops, wrong thing. Let's see how she does his mining. Apologies about the audio, guys. I would probably definitely dedicate multiple lasers to surface mining with this thing if you're going to, but... I don't know, I'm just testing it through a range of stuff. The kit that came with it was okay. We were able to get it up to almost 300 tons of cargo. Now, I wasn't the world's biggest fan of the weapon loadout, but we tested it with 3 railguns and 3 flat frag cannons, and it actually held up, which was hilarious. So looking like it might be an okay mining ship with all those bays. Do we have a collector limpet that died? Yeah, we do. There you go. It's definitely an interesting looking ship. It's very beaky. And I did forget to bring the pulse wave scanner for surface and abrasion mining, but Don't really need it for proof of concept on whether or not this thing is capable of mining. It clearly is. And I could have brought more mining lasers, but I chose to leave it armed. So the jump range, even with a fully engineered FSD, is nothing to write home about. It's 24 right now, 29 on laden. I mean, it's decidedly average. But it's also not terrible. And I don't have a Guardian booster on it. So... But it... Unladen, yeah, unladen is empty. So almost never what you're actually gonna get. But all in all, is for a multi-roll. The next thing I want to do is take it and strip it down and see what we could potentially do with it for exploration. I'm going to land at the station and look at the stock one's stats. Biggest thing to me, because I'm sure it'll be different in stock when the 7A on the thrusters power distributor, 5A on the frame shift drive is fairly nice. We'll let the limpets finish collecting all this stuff and then we'll head out. And they've not got that much left to grab. Yeah, man. Only 3 more. You guys can do it. The rings in the cockpit are still weird. Alright. A lot of the paint schemes for this thing are funky. Alright. Well, those prospector limpets are not prospector, collector limpets are keeping up like champs. Again, we did about 475,000 light seconds in a CO without overheating or running out of fuel, so it's good and stable. It was going to run out of fuel if I'd gone much further, but never went above 57% heat, so did pretty well there. The rings in the cockpit, I'm not the biggest fan. I never cared for the Courier that much. Okay. I will say, though, you can see an awful lot out of this cockpit.
Gutamaya, Delta, India, Golf. Request docking permission prior to touching down. Approval granted. Please make your way to landing pad 0A.
Alright. Like to see down like this. I like ships with the floor window, but I also fly a Corvette and flew an Anaconda for a long time, so I'm used to not having them, but if I can have them, it's definitely preferred. The cockpit on top on this thing is the weirdest decision to me.
Deploy landing gear.
Hello, can we... Thank you.
That's confirmed. Deactivating docking systems. Station facilities are at your disposal.
Alright, let's strip her down and see what we can do. Alright, outfitting. Alright. So, first up, optional internals. Shit, camo paint, right? Now that's not going to do anything for us. Nor does that. Well, let's just say $31.56, 24.64. Let's get rid of that. No, I know these don't really affect jump range. I'm just getting some extra garbage off the ship. See, typical, we could boost it some with that. Let's... Done with the hard points. Let's leave this station. And let's go to... We didn't put a fuel scoop back on this thing. I remember that. That is what was on it before. Did I mistype that? Yes, I did. That's a whole lot better.
Docking coupler disengaged. Take care when leaving
Alright, so this is the one last thing I wanted to take a look at before we wrapped up.
You are now clear of station perimeter. Have a good flight, Commander.
The only multi-role that I'm not going to test with this is anti-Xeno. Because that is a lot of component swapping and engineering and finding Thargoids, and not something I'm going to go to the all the trouble for right now. It's got the weapon slots to make it a potentially good anti-Xeno ship. Depends on how cold you can get it running. Need to learn engineering. Yeah, I'm going to do a tutorial for engineering. Unfortunately, it's going to have to wait until we're back from vacation. Because I don't have time in the next 3 days to get that done. There's just no way. Habit from all that this exploration. I keep trying to scan systems. Zabrowski. We're going to Colonial Williamsburg and then down the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Should be a pretty relaxing week. Y'all may have picked up my girl as a teacher, and this is her spring break coming up. And then when I get back, we're going to have all kinds of fun with stuff. We'll have some Elite. We'll have some Star System. I got to finish Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Need to finish Xenoblade Chronicles X. There's more Monster Hunter stuff in the works. I'm going to play Claire Obscura. We're going to do a subathon marathon stream. Nah, Chester's going to stay with her parents. We're not. It's too hard to try for what we're doing. Too many places are just not dog friendly. Alright, Zabrowski Enterprise. Pretty big drop radius.
Gutamaya, Delta.
Yeah, there. Right.
You are approaching an Imperial facility. Please follow all docking regulations and fly safely. Permission has been approved. Please continue to Bay 1-1.
Let's say with some decent engineering, this ship could be really pretty good. Like, it's already pretty decent as far as the stellar version goes. I need to have a look at the regular version when we land. Did I miss the mailbox? I did. Definitely has pitch issues. It's very slow on the up and down. My words really. I have not been running voice attack today so that they couldn't accidentally mishear me and punch buttons while I test various things on this ship. Plus, I've variously been recording certain bits to use in a video for the ship review, and they get recorded as desktop audio, which I did not want. That's why you'll see that pop up from time to time. Down we go. So, trying to get an approximation of this thing for exploration. It's not going to be fantastic, but people are going to ask, so let's just take a quick look. So, obviously this doesn't make a difference, but I've stripped her down to just the 3 non-mining hardpoints we're using. Let's see, if we lost the shield booster, that's the problem with like, I can't store them, I can't swap them, I can't. There we go. Excel. Come on. Custom cockpit color is pretty easy to install. Yes, it's very easy to install. So we'll keep the heatsink launcher. So obviously, one big way we could get rid of that, because that military grade composite. What is the base armor? Well, we can look into the shipyard and see. Unless you don't sell it. Lightweight alloy. How much does lightweight alloy weigh? Lightweight alloy. Mass is 0 tons. Right. What's required, and you don't have any. Aggravating. Could save some weight here. Especially with the power plant if you needed to. I prefer not to most of the time. So, let's just throw this into 80 Shipyard real quick. If it's in here. Nope, not in here yet. How did I learn to type so fast? Many years working for a bank and for other entities that required business emails. All right, so I can't actually test it in Coriolis unless Coriolis is updated quicker. Cover. Nope, neither one of them have it. So I can't get a good read on that unless I find someplace that has lightweight alloy. But realistically, we're not going to add but another 2 or 3 light years. So with a Guardian FSD booster, this thing's maxing out at 42 light years or so. So never going to be a fantastic exploration ship, but it's not horrible. And there go my headphones. Time to swap batteries. There we go. You could get this thing up to 50 if you wanted to. It probably wouldn't be super functional, but it's doable. So, if you didn't have anything else, you could kind of turn it into an exploration ship. It wouldn't be my first go-to, though. Now then, let's get rid of that god-awful paint job. That is just obnoxious. Yikes. Nope. Blue and black's not bad. Man, if you didn't really didn't leave us a lot to work with here, did you? I'll take this. So Chester, my guy. So there's your Corsair. 'Tis an interesting ship. Chester definitely doesn't like the color choice. He's also a picky little gremlin. Up we go.
You are free of the restricted zone.
So, to recap, I'm going to go get some footage of me flying it over a planet real quick. To recap, combat holds its own fairly well. We ran a test with the loadout it came with, and I also put an absolutely ridiculous cheese build on it where we ran 3 railguns and 3 frag cannons, and I was able to take down several ships, including an FDL, until I ran up against a Fed gunship that also had a fighter. That finally got me. No real overheating problems there until the 4th or 5th shots from the railguns, so surprisingly viable build if you're a good shot. Trade, we got her to almost 300 tons, stripped completely bare with no shields, mid 200s with shields and a fuel scoop. Does just fine in Super Cruise. We ran 470,000 light seconds without running out of fuel, although we were getting close to 25%, and it didn't go over 57% heat. Can get an okay jump range out of it for exploration, and it's got plenty of optional internals and space for all the mining gear you could want. So it is a true multi-role. It does not excel in any one of them, but it's perfectly viable choice for, I would say, everything but exploration. Because let's be perfectly honest, if you're doing any serious exploration, that jump range right there is not going to cut it. And I reckon you could finagle it up to about 50 if you did, but you would be running lightweight everything. So it's all a matter of preference there, but exploration, probably its weakest role, and I really just, I cannot be bothered to set it up for Exo or Xeno combat and then go find somebody to shoot with AX weapons. I can't. That's more on me. I'm sure somebody will, but I just... My Mandalay jumps 71. The Mandalay can get up into the 90s if you strip it down. I'd say common ballpark on the Mandalay is probably mid-70s to mid-80s. That'll make you sick. All right, she's certainly not the worst ship ever. Let's take her home. All in all, I'd say it's not terrible. It's a good multi-role ship. I don't even mind the looks that much because I don't see it when I'm inside the ship. I still don't think it's the best thing they've ever made looks-wise, but again, I don't see it when I'm in the cockpit, so. Now I gotta think of a name for it, and I've gotta give it the proper registration and stickers. But all in all, about 3 hours of flying it, I think it's a fairly solid addition to the ship lineup. Now, FDF, can we please get some type of new large ship? Bring her into land. I believe tomorrow is going to be Star Citizen, as far as the stream goes, so that'll be fun. I haven't played Star Citizen in a while. I'm probably going to look like a fool because I'll be trying to play it like it's Elite. There's been a fair number of changes since last I played it, so I think after a while this cockpit would probably grow on you. Okay. Well, that's right. We're parked around these two planets. Because Trailblazer Song is right here. I've been stuffing the copper spot full of cargo for my colony at night when I'm playing on the Steam Deck.
We welcome your business as a carrier, Commander. Please enjoy your stay with us.
K6P SGQ. Okay. One year. Okay, let's get landing for copper spot here.
Granted. Please proceed to your landing pad, Commander.
Alright, back on the carrier. Whoa! Okay. Yikes. What are we shooting at? Down we go?
Almost safe landing. Clamps engaged. Welcome to a carrier, Commander.
Okay. Well, that was fun. Speaking of Wiki Smoke, if you want to give Star Citizen another try, you're welcome to also join our org. I love our banner page. Alright. Carrier services. I know you currently don't stock it. So it's 79 million credit ship. And the stock version comes with the 2 pulse lasers, lightweight alloy, 7E everything. No utility mounts. Stellar version is probably actually worth it. Because of the Class 6 shield generator and the Class 7... and the Class 7A everything in the core, 7A power, 7A thrusters, 5A frame shifted, 7A power distributor. That's pretty good chunk of in-game change. So she's not a cheap ship. More expensive than the Python 1 or 2. But yeah, that is the Corsair. I'll be back tomorrow, guys, for Star Citizen. I will have a guest with me. Well, it'll be Luna. You guys have heard him before. How are we doing, Tritium? We're good. And we will be checking out some of the stuff in 4.1, including the new vendor guy, the alien, and a few other things. So look forward to that. We'll have a video kind of compiling everything that we did today on stream. Coming out probably tomorrow. I don't think I have enough time to put it all together tonight. So, but that'll be on the channel very, very soon. Thank you guys for hanging out. 07 Commanders, I'll see you tomorrow.